Yo, what up, family? So, as I promised in the last video, I promised that I would offer the scriptural support concerning the scattering and the disbursement of the 12 tribes of Israel into the other nations and into the countries of the heathen. And in this case, and biblically, heathen means the other nations. Gentile as well means the other nations. However, we'll get a little bit deeper later. There are 2 to 3 different classifications of Gentile, especially when you go back into the Greek and the Hebrew, that describe the other nations. So the first script that I'm going to give you guys, and I'm not going to hold you too long, is in Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 15. Now, let me preface by saying this. The importance of knowing these scriptures as any one of the 12 tribes of Israel, and the importance of knowing these scriptures as a nation of people, as we are a nation of people separate and apart from the other nations. It helps us to understand how it is that we got into the condition that we are in today, and how it is that we became fractured. Okay, there are other scriptures that I have to provide to explain how exactly our kingdom was split into 2, which would be northern and southern kingdom, and how we went into the various countries and throughout the earth, and then begin to develop and begin to be labeled by names, as in other names that are not the descendancy that we come from, which is Yasharallah or Israel. It is very important to understand this, especially for the young ones, so that they can recapture their identity. Okay, let me get to the script. My bad, I had to preface it by saying that. But we're in Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 15. And it says, "And I will scatter thee among the heathen." Who is the I talking here? This is the Most High God Yahweh, okay? "And I will scatter thee among the heathen and disperse thee in the countries, and will consume thy filthiness out of thee." I'm not going to spend too much time in particular explaining what certain things mean in the verse, although I will give a little bit of clarity. What does it mean by removing the filthiness from us? Meaning that we began, and the reason why, or the reason which is why we went into captivity to the other nations to date till today, the reason we went into captivity, our people, all 12 tribes of Israel, was because we began to stray away from the laws that were given to our forefathers. Whenever we break laws of the Most High God, our punishment as a nation is to go into captivity, as in we went into captivity in the times of Egypt in far ancient times. Our ancient forefathers and foremothers went into captivity then, and that is the identifying marker of the group of people that are known and that are the 12 tribes of Israel, okay? Or Israel as a nation, Israel proper, not who we've come to believe in Hollywood film and all that kind of stuff as to who Israel is. Israel, once again, are your so-called Negro, black people, your so-called indigenous Americans, okay? Your non-Hamitic Africans. I'm talking about your Shemitic Africans, okay? We're talking about the people that may be in Europe that are living there. We're scattered everywhere. Just put it like that. Keep it simple. Moving on to the next verse because I don't want to drag this thing out. All right, y'all, hold up. Okay, the next script is going to be in Zechariah chapter 7, verse 14. Now, I must say this because in order to gain clarity of the entire Bible, from whom it was written and to whom it is addressed to, you've got to understand that it is addressing a people group, a nation of people with a pedigree, a nationality, a bloodline that is different from the other peoples of the earth, okay? The book is not about a religious affiliation. It is literally about a nation of people that have customs, a land, traditions, folkways, mores, norms, and customs, okay? So if you don't understand that and you're just going into it with a religious mindset, then it's not going to make sense. Okay, continuing on to the next verse. We're in Zechariah chapter 7, verse 14. "But I who? I, the Lord God," meaning I, Yahweh, the Most High God of the heavens and the earth. "But I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned. for they laid the pleasant land desolate. Much is saying that once Israel was dispersed into the other lands, into the other countries of the other people, the land was barren. The land was desolate without them because we had to flee out of it. And or we were carried away captive into other lands once our kingdom was seized. Please pardon me if it seems as if I'm moving fast. I'm just trying to keep this thing under 10 minutes, okay guys? Now this next verse here in Deuteronomy 28:64 was a prophecy of old that they foretold that this would happen in future times from the time that the prophecy was given. So this is Deuteronomy 28:64, and please forgive me if it seems as if I'm kind of, rushing through these. I'll make other videos to clarify anything that's not clarified in this one. Let's go ahead and begin at 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. I chose to go ahead and continue on in 65, but this explains that we are scattered throughout the other nations in their borders. No matter where you go in the earth, we're going to be there, you guys. As I stated in the previous video, many of us might be speaking fluent Arabic, fluent French, fluent German. Some may be a bit lighter in tone, although not they will not be Caucasian, that's for sure, because those people come from another blood lineage, not of Israel, okay? Israel is a specific nationality designated by the Most High God via the patriarchs Abraham. We're talking seed line and genealogy here, you guys. This is not imaginary. Via Abraham, Isaac, and then gave birth to or begat Jacob. That's biblical language. Begat meaning that a father begat a son through his sperm, through his seed lineage. So this is not a mesh of a whole bunch of other nationalities. We're talking about one group of people here that were scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, either taken away captive or fleeing from persecution of our holy lands in the past times, which is Israel, you guys, okay? And the Israel that you see on the map was much bigger. It was not as small. It encompassed a lot. It encompassed like what, 4 different rivers? Okay, all right, now I'm going to carry on, because once again, I'm trying to keep this video relatively short and get straight to the point. Okay. Now, this verse alludes to us being carried away captive into the other lands and the other nations of people amongst the heathen, okay? This would be Luke 21:24, and it begins, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. This is a prophecy, okay? Beginning again, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, when you look over there in that land, Israel, right now, that land has been trodden down by the Gentiles. Before the Eastern European went there and settled, it was the Persians and the Arabs and Babylonians that settled in there, right? Now, we're talking about a span of not only, back the past 100 years, we're talking about the span of at least a couple thousands of years, guys. So remember, one day is as 1,000 years to God. So we're thinking that this is relatively far removed history. But no, to God, that's like 2 days ago. You got to understand the life expectancy and extension of life between us and the heavenly bodies is 2 completely different things. A lot of times we get into our own judgment based on our limited lifespan knowledge. However, yes, these were over the span of thousands of years. That land has been vacant at one point, desolate, and then the other heathen nations begin to come in there and rule and take over and, have their way with the land. So it's going to be that way until that day that we are then restored as a nation, and that land is going to be restored back to us, by the way. Our punishment and captivity is not something that's infinite. No, it had a beginning date because we broke the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, and it has an end date because it says in the land of our captivity, we will remember his name. And I could see this happening right now, you guys. So anyway, let me go ahead and cut this short right here. There will be more. Make sure to take notes, highlight all that stuff, study, family, all 12 tribes of Israel, your so-called Jamaicans, Haitians, so-called black folks, Negro Americans, so-called Brazilians, Trinidadians, Barbadians, all that stuff. Get your shit together. Yeah, we're one nation. Let's work the shit out. Okay, enough said. Gotta go. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Love you. Bye.